The case you are about to see is fictional, but the jury is made up of members of the public who will assess the evidence and deliver their own verdict at the end of the programme.
You won't be needing all that, you know.
Oh, yes?
Oh, no, it's all very straightforward, hardly worth the effort.
We really are sure of ourselves, aren't we?
Have you noticed how many West Indians are coming before the courts nowadays? It's getting monotonous.
Maybe we should be asking ourselves why.
Thank you, Vanessa Redgrave.
Bring up the accused.
You all right then?
Will I have to wait outside until the call?
Is it all right smoking? Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen you. Well, I will wait so you can say. I won't apologise.
All stand. All persons who have anything to do before the Crown Court here holden for the town of Fulchester, draw near and give your attendance. God save the Queen. Put up Errol Hunt. Is your name Errol Hunt?
Yes, it is.
Errol Hunt, you stand indicted on 2 counts. On the first count, you are charged with theft. And the particulars are that on or about the 15th of May 1975 at Fulchester, you did steal 2 cassette recorders, the property of Ballards Electronics. To this charge, how say you? Are you guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
On the second count, you are charged with theft, and the particulars are that on or about the 15th of May 1975 at Fulchester, you did steal 8 cassette recorders, the property of Ballard Electronics. To this charge, how say you? Are you guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Usher, will you bring forward the jury in waiting? Reginald Smallpiece.
Challenge.
Reginald Smallpiece, will you kindly leave the jury box? Will Neville Williams take his place in the box and take the oath? Take the Bible in your right hand and read aloud the words on this card.
I swear by Almighty God that I will faithfully try the several issues joined between the parties here present and give a true verdict according to the evidence.
So, Constable Dodds, you were summoned to Ballards Electronics on the 15th of May this year.
Yes, sir.
What time was this?
Just after midday, sir. I got there about 12:30.
Who asked you to go?
The managing director of Ballards Electronics, Mr. Moore.
Who else was in Mr. Moore's office when you got there?
Another manager, Mr. Cohen, and one of the charge hands at Ballards, Mr. Stevenson.
And did Mr. Moore then make certain allegations to you concerning the accused?
He did.
And was the accused then summoned to the office?
He was.
And did Mr. Moore then repeat the allegations that he'd made to you?
Yes, sir.
And what were they?
That, under his supervision, all the lockers belonging to the workers at Ballards had been searched. He had suspected that someone from the factory had been helping himself to, or herself, to their cassette recorders. He said they'd found 2 cassette recorders in the locker of the accused.
Did he say why he believed the cassette recorders to be the property of Ballards Electronics?
Yes, sir, the serial numbers. Any time the sets left the factory for the shop, their serial numbers were noted in a book. The serial numbers of these 2 particular sets had not been so entered.
Will you look at Exhibits 1 and 2?
Yes, sir, these are the sets Mr. Moore produced.
Now, did the accused say anything when Mr. Moore made these allegations?
Yes, sir. The defendant said, "You've got to be joking." Then he turned to Mr. Moore and said, "Do you really need to do it this way?"
Do you really need to do it this way?
Yes, sir, his exact words.
Then what?
I said I'd like to search his car. And the defendant said, "Help yourself, my brother."
Did he then accompany you out to his car?
He did.
Who else was there?
Mr. Moore, Mr. Cohen, and Mr. Stevenson.
And then what happened?
I asked the defendant for his car keys. He handed them to me, and I searched his car.
Did you find anything?
Yes, sir. 8 other cassette recorders.
Where?
In the boot of his car.
Would you examine exhibits 3 to 10, please?
Yes, sir, these are the ones.
What did Hunt say when you found them?
He said, "Jesus, Jesus." Then he said, "But the car lock's no good." I asked him what he meant by this, and he said, "The lock on the boot, it's damaged." Then he said, "Everybody knows that."
Nothing else?
Oh, yes, there was something else, sir. He said, "I wish I'd known before this how easy it was to steal from Ballards. I'd simply have fought one kind of crime with another kind of crime."
Thank you, officer.
Constable Dodds, you say the defendant told you that the lock on his car boot was defective.
Yes, madam,
Did you examine the lock to see if this were true?
I did.
And did you find that the defendant was telling the truth and that the lock could be opened without a key?
Yes, madam.
So, it is possible, isn't it, that somebody else could have planted those cassette recorders in the boot of Hunt's car?
It is possible.
Thank you.
I call George Stevenson.
George Stevenson, please.
What is your religion?
Baptist.
Take the Bible in your right hand and read aloud the words on this card.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
You are George Stevenson of 53 Heaford Road, Fulchester.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Stevenson, you are a charge hand at Ballards Electronics.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Do you know the accused?
Yeah, sure. That's the guy right there.
Now, on the 15th of May this year, were you at work?
I was, yes.
And did you have occasion to go into the locker room?
I did.
For what purpose?
To search them, the lockers.
Did you go alone?
No, I went with all Moore, Mr. Moore and Mr. Cohen.
Did you find anything?
Yeah. I found 2 cassette tape recorders in the locker belonging to Errol Hunt.
May he be shown exhibits 1 and 2, please? Are those the cassette recorders that you found in the accused's locker?
Yeah, that's them.
Now, were you present later that day when another search was carried out?
Yeah, when we searched his car.
And who was present when this was taking place?
Mr. Moore, Mr. Cohen, Errol Hunt, and a police officer.
Yes, now will you tell the court what happened when the car was searched?
Well, first this copper asked Hunt for his keys, his car keys, you know. And then the copper unlocked the car. But first, nothing. And then he opened the boot. And there they were. 8 cassette recorders. Enough to open a flippin' shop.
Now, Mr. Stevenson, have you and the accused ever argued about politics?
I don't argue about politics. He argues about politics. All I do is disagree at the top of my voice.
All right, let me put it another way. What kind of political views did he express? Right-wing? Left-wing?
Oh, left-wing, sure.
Yes, Mr. Lloyd, what is all this about?
My lord, I assure you the evidence is relevant. The prosecution case is that the defendant may well have stolen from mixed motives and not purely for gain.
Very well.
Now, the views he expressed, Mr. Stevenson, were they very left-wing?
He's not Stalin, if that's what you mean.
But definitely left-wing.
Let's put it another way. The guy's more left-wing than you. But I don't know if that's saying as much, is it?
Now, just answer the question, Mr. Stevenson, no more, no less.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Now, March the 18th this year, Mr. King was dismissed from Ballards for theft, was he not?
Yeah, Garfield King.
Now, did you and the accused ever have any discussion about Mr. King's dismissal?
Yeah, he called it a plot. He said anyway capitalism was organized theft, so what was all the fuss about?
Yes, now, I believe that about a week or two after Garfield King lost his job, his wife was sacked as well.
She went to pieces. Her work began to suffer. I mean, we were on double quota. She was keeping everybody else back. Double quota ain't no joke. But let's get one point straight, okay? I didn't tell Mr. Moore to sack her. I mean, she was falling behind. He could see she was falling behind.
Yes, what I want you to tell us is what was the defendant's reaction to this, to Mrs. King's dismissal?
Oh, he went wild. The guy's a bit of a madman, like all pointy-headed intellectuals. He said, now that they've both been fired, they didn't stand a chance. Where would they find other jobs at their age, especially being West Indians?
Yes, be that as it may, what did the defendant actually do about all this, Mr. Stevenson?
Do?
Yes, do, Mr. Stevenson.
Look, I don't want to get the guy into any trouble.
Mr. Stevenson, will you just answer the question? And I may add, Mr. Stevenson, that if you wish to help your friend in any way at all, you would do best to answer the questions as simply and as helpfully as possible.
Your Honor, the guy is no particular friend of mine, but he's a fellow West Indian. I mean, everybody hears stories about what happens to West Indians in, well, a court like this.
Mr. Stevenson, if you are trying to say that you do not believe that the accused will get a fair trial in this court, let me tell you that you have no need to worry on that score. British justice sees to it that every prisoner that comes into an English court is treated in exactly the same manner.
Oh, well, that's a different matter then. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Thank you, my lord.
Oh, I'm sorry, I meant my lord, not Your Honor.
Proceed.
Well, now that your mind has been set at rest, Mr. Stevenson, I'll ask you again. What was one of the first things the accused did when he learned of Mrs. King's dismissal?
He organized a meeting during the lunch break. The guy really came on heavy. Heavy. I mean, he even tried to get everybody to go on strike.
Yes, now, was this the only occasion when Hunt protested about something pertaining to the factory?
No, he was always on about something or the other. He used to hold more meetings than Billy Graham. Only religion wasn't his problem. He'd cause a lot of arguments, and if he could get everybody arguing among themselves, oh, he'd like that.
Are you saying then that Hunt was a troublemaker?
Maybe he was a troublemaker, but he wasn't just a
yes
troublemaker.
Yes or no, please?
Okay, yes. Some people would call him a troublemaker.
Now, getting back to the meeting that he organized after Mrs. King's dismissal, can you recall anything in particular that the accused said at that meeting?
He said a whole heap of things. He said that Ballards had exploited us for years, but nobody minded because we weren't English. So we had to do it ourselves. We had to take whatever we could get off the company in every way we could, by fair means or foul.
Now, are you sure that's what he said? Take whatever we could get off the company in any way we could, by fair means or foul?
Sure. That's exactly what he said.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson.
That's all right.
Mr. Stevenson, you say you were there when the boot of my client's car was being searched, or the boot where all those cassette recorders were so conveniently found. Now, what I want to know is, were you also there when the police examined the lock on the boot and found it to be defective? Faulty?
Yeah, I was.
You weren't surprised, though, were you?
Surprised?
Because some days before, Mr. Hunt had mentioned to you the fact that the lock was faulty.
Yes, he did.
In fact, he'd asked one of the other men in the factory, a Mr. Josiah, to mend it for him, hadn't he?
Yes, something like that.
So, a number of people knew that the boot on Errol Hunt's car could easily be opened, with or without a key.
Yes.
Therefore, anybody could just have gone to my client's car and planted those cassette recorders there, couldn't they?
Yes, anybody.
Did you plant them there?
You gotta be joking. No, I did not.
Let's talk about Ballards Electronics now, shall we? This factory where all of you work. There is no union at Ballards, is there?
Union?
Yes, a union, you know. At most factories there is a union. But there is no union of any kind at Ballards, is there?
We don't have a union.
And yet there are nearly 200 workers in that factory, are there not?
Yes, something like that.
Most of whom are West Indians and some Africans.
Yes.
In fact, it's one of those factories where the management are all white and the workers are all non-white. West Indians and Africans, isn't that so?
My lord, if you'll excuse my interruption, I would like to remind my learned friend that this is a trial of a criminal offence.
Yes, Mrs. Bryce, is it necessary to turn this trial into yet another political extravaganza? Surely there's enough of that sort of thing in the newspapers. If, of course, it is relevant, then it is permissible. But is it?
My lord, as your lordship has already heard, there are no unions at this company. Now, if I'm allowed to develop my case, you will also hear that my client, Errol Hunt, was trying to organise a union at Ballards. The last thing that they want, the management at Ballards, is someone who even mentions the word union. Thus, some way had to be found to get rid of my client. And if they could blacken his character at the same time, so much the better. In my submission, it is imperative for the jury to understand the lengths to which this management would go to be rid of someone like my client. It is essential, therefore, to go to some extent into the conditions at Ballards Electronics, the conditions under which these people had to work daily.
Yes, I see. Very well.
Thank you, my lord. Now, Mr. Stevenson, so far we've established that Ballards has something like 200 coloured workers and no union. Can you add anything to that? For example, it's true, isn't it, that on average 5 people are sacked each week from Ballards?
Yes, 5, 6.
5 people out of 200 every week.
Yes, yes.
And there was no trouble in finding new people to take their place, was there?
No trouble at all. As you say, it's mainly black women working in the factory. So the management knew Fulchester was full of them, right? So how can they lose?
And all they do when Friday comes is hand these women their cards. And they don't offer any explanation either, do they?
Explanation? You gotta be joking. Look, Ballards and Oxford University, you know, it's a factory where they're not only black, but most of them are women as well. Explanation? You can't be serious.
But, Mr. Stevenson, all employees who've been in a job for 26 weeks are protected by statute from wrongful dismissal.
Maybe so, sir. But they don't know that. Nobody tells them nothing.
Now, before we get on to Errol Hunt, can we just talk about Mr. Moore for a moment? He is the manager at Ballards, yes?
The managing director at Ballards. The man.
Did Mr. Moore do most of the hiring and firing at Ballards?
Not so much the hiring. He leaves that to people like Mr. Cohen. Mr. Cohen is one of the other managers.
But the firing?
Oh, yes, Mr. Moore fires a lot of people.
More than anybody else, in fact.
Oh, far more. He'd fire anybody, the Pope even.
That formidable, is he? Anyway, now we can bring in my client. My learned friend just now tried to get you to say that Mr. Hunt was something of a troublemaker. And you replied, and I quote, "He wasn't just a troublemaker," unquote. Perhaps you'd tell us what you meant by that.
Well, there's no doubt about it. Sometimes the guy causes more trouble than he's worth. But on the other hand, he didn't just do it for himself. I mean, he really felt conditions at Ballards ought to be improved. And that was all he cared about. And that's what people don't understand about Errol Hunt. I mean, he would go to any lengths to help improve things at Ballards, even if he ends up causing more trouble than any of it is worth.
Yes, but surely you would like it if there were some sort of union at Ballards, would you not?
Your Honor, I couldn't care less. Union? What do I want a union for? I do okay without a union.
Not a very public-spirited attitude, Mr. Stevenson, is it?
To me it is. I am all right, Jack.
Yes, Miss Straw. But it's true, isn't it, Mr. Stevenson, that you make £60 a week?
Yeah, so?
While the women on the assembly line at Ballards only make £22 a week. A vast difference, is it not?
Look, I don't know how much they make. I don't concern myself with other people's business.
No, you don't, Mr. Stevenson. That much is obvious. But Mr. Hunt did.
Yeah, and look where it got him. Top billing in this music hall. No, that's the kind of good luck I could do without.
What about Mr. Moore? Do you know what his feelings were towards Errol Hunt? He was certainly aware of Mr. Hunt, was he not?
Was Hitler aware of the Jews?
Did he ever say anything to you about my client?
Yes, more than once.
Such as?
He said that Hunt was untrustworthy. He frequently said that. Untrustworthy.
In your opinion, was that a fair assessment of my client?
No, miss.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Moore, I believe you're the managing director of Ballards Electronics.
Yes.
Now, the 15th of May this year, did you call the police to Ballards Electronics?
I did, yes.
What was your reason for calling the police?
2 cassette recorders were found in a locker used by one of my employees. 2 cassette recorders which I had reason to believe had been stolen.
Who was this employee?
Hunt over there. Errol Hunt.
And were you there when the defendant's locker was searched?
I was, yes.
Who else was there with you?
Oscar Cohen, the manager, and George Stevenson, the charge hand.
Did you summon the accused to your office after the police arrived?
Oh, yes.
And what did he say when he was told of the cassette recorders?
Well, his first words were, "You've got to be joking," or something like that. And then he said to me, "Did you really need to do it this way?"
And then were you also there when Hunt's car was searched by the police?
Yes, I was, yes.
Who else was there?
The police, Cohen, Stevenson, and Hunt, of course. Cocky as usual.
Just answer the questions, Mr.
Yeah,
Moore.
I'm sorry.
Now, Mr. Moore, after his car was searched and the 8 cassette recorders were found in the boot of the car, what did Hunt have to say?
Well, as usual, he had quite a lot to say. For a start, he said that the lock on the boot of his car wasn't reliable and that everybody knew it. I mean, the man's deluded. Alice in Wonderland. I mean, how could anybody know about his pathetic car? You should see it. It's one of Henry Ford's failures.
Mr. Moore, did he say anything else?
Well, yes, something to the effect that if he'd known just how easy it was to steal from Ballards, he would have fought one kind of crime with another kind of crime.
Mr. Lloyd, what interpretation did the prosecution put upon that?
Simply that he didn't mind helping himself to other people's property, my lord. Now, tell me, Mr. Moore, do you regard Hunt as a troublemaker?
Definitely.
Why?
Yeah, well, West Indians are happy-go-lucky people, and he was trying to make radicals out of them. I used to watch them every lunchtime in the field at the back of the factory there. And they'd be horsing around, you know, like they do, and he'd be going around trying to organise them like it was Fidel Castro or somebody. I mean, at lunchtime, mind you. Not even Karl Marx made himself such a bloody nuisance.
Mr. Moore, we have to try and maintain an air of calm and decorum in these proceedings. Please refrain from using swear words.
Oh, I'm sorry, my lord.
Now, Mr. Moore, it's been suggested that conditions at Ballards Electronics aren't all that they should be. That because you use mainly coloured labour and that there's no union at Ballards, it's easy to exploit them. Now, what would you have to say about that?
Well, I'm hurt. Deeply hurt. I mean, me, exploit them. I'm a friend of the coloured people, and everybody knows that. If I lived in the southern states of America, they'd burn a cross on my front lawn. And I do everything I possibly can to help them. I help them arrange their mortgages. I help them buy their own homes. I've even helped bury some of them. Yeah, I have helped bury some of them. I'd cheerfully help bury some more of them, too, if I had the chance. It's only my joke, of course. My sense of humour. Yeah, they love my sense of humour, my coloured friends. Old Moore, they say, always joking. That's what they say to me.
Yes, so you'd say, then, that you had a good relationship with your workers?
Well, definitely. At least until Hunt arrived.
Then what happened?
Well, now it's gone all racial and tense. I'm in the factory. I mean, it's like Harlem in there now. All frizzy hairstyles and black power, which is a pity, I think. I mean, they don't sing and show their happy teeth like they did, you know. They don't appreciate all I've done for them. I'm a stranger in my own factory.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Moore.
Mr. Moore, will you tell the court, please, how old you are?
Well, yes, if you think it's important. I'm 57.
And you're a widower, is that right?
Yes, my wife died quite a few years ago. Well, what's that got to do with about
Just answer the question, Mr. Moore.
Mr. Moore, since your wife died, you've taken out quite a number of the workers in your factory, haven't you? The female ones, I mean.
Your Honour, please!
My Lord. Yes, indeed. What is the point of this, Mrs. Bryce?
My Lord, I'm coming to certain conversations Mr. Moore had with one particular employee of his.
She's insinuating I took advantage of the women working for me.
I was hoping not to have to go into all that,
It's a downright
Mr. Moore.
lie. Every word of it, a downright lie, every word.
Mr. Moore, let that be the first and the last time that you shout in my court. Now, do you understand me, Mr. Moore?
Yes, I'm sorry, sir. It won't happen again.
Now, Mrs. Bryce, would you please confine yourself to the particular employee with whom these conversations took place?
Very well, my lord. Mr. Moore, what about a young lady named Maudie Baker?
What about her?
She was one of the young women from your factory whom you've taken out.
Yeah, well, Maudie was different, wasn't she? I mean, I never tried anything funny, if that's what you're saying.
She never gave you the opportunity, did
well,
she?
I respected her. I mean, she wasn't like the other West Indians. She had grace. And I'm not that old that I don't know grace when I see it.
And then when Errol Hunt began taking her out, that didn't exactly please you, did it?
Well, a girl like that, I mean, she could have had a choice of men, and she had to pick him. Him!
That opinion is motivated by straightforward jealousy, isn't it, Mr. Moore?
Jealousy. At my age, you must be joking.
You so hated seeing them together that one lunchtime you lost your temper with them. This was around the 25th of April, I believe.
All the times I got carried away like anybody else.
Does that mean yes or no, Mr. Moore?
Yes, I lost my temper.
In front of a number of people, am I right?
Yes, yes, yes.
And in front of those people, Miss Baker walked up to you and told you to mind your own business, didn't she, Mr. Moore?
Yeah, well, women are born to betray.
Apparently, the next day, the incident still rankled. Because you told Miss Baker that you had stood for just about enough nonsense from Hunt and that you certainly weren't going to stand for any more. Can you remember saying words to that effect?
Well, I might have said something of the sort.
And by that, I take it that you meant that if you'd had the chance, you would have sacked him.
Yeah, but not without reason, with some sort of reason.
Really? Even then, you didn't do it, did you?
Yeah,
You didn't give him the sack.
You never did anything that I could hold against him.
Come on, Mr. Moore. You're on oath now, remember? That wasn't the real reason, and we both know it. Miss Baker was the real reason. And that's why you never sacked Errol Hunt. Because unless you could find an exceedingly good reason for dismissing him, Miss Baker would have left as well, and you would never have seen her again. In fact, she told you that on more than one occasion. Is that not so?
Yeah, well, an old fool and a young girl, it is a bit pathetic, isn't it?
Would you speak up, please?
Yes, she told me that.
What about Hunt's car boot? That's another thing she told you about, isn't it?
His car boot?
She told you about the lock being defective.
When was this?
2 weeks before the cassette recorders were found in the boot of Hunt's car.
She told you that. She got a wonderful imagination, that girl.
Are you saying you don't remember her telling you? Or that she definitely did not say such a thing?
Well, if she did, I certainly don't remember it.
You see, for a moment there, you seemed completely certain that she hadn't told you. Now you're not so adamant. Which is it, Mr. Moore?
Look, I mean, I don't need this. I mean, obviously he's been talking to her. I mean, suddenly it's me that's on trial here.
Did she or did she not tell you? You can't have it both ways, Mr. Moore.
I can have it any bloody way I like, young lady. Shouting at me like that, you think it's me, my wife or something?
I will not stand for this. Now, I have the power to have this court cleared, and I will exercise it. I've warned you before, Mr. Moore.
I'm just not accustomed to being shouted at by women.
Mr. Moore.
Yeah, all right, I know it's my fault. I'm sorry. It won't happen again.
Well, that is the second time that you have made that promise, Mr. Moore. Proceed.
Thank you, my lord. Mr. Moore, as far as the factory is concerned, you are an utterly ruthless man, are you not?
What is this, judgment in Nuremberg? Just because we haven't got Nixon to kick around anymore, don't think you can start on me, you know?
Usher, clear the court. Mr. Moore, this will be my third warning to you. I am quite prepared, if it is what you want, to fine you or to send you to prison for contempt. But if it is not what you want, then may I suggest that you answer the questions with a simple yes or no?
Yes, I understand. I'm sorry, sir.
Very well.
So, once again, Mr. Moore, as far as the running of Ballards Electronics is concerned, are you not inclined to be utterly ruthless?
No.
Well, let's see how you run the factory, shall we? Isn't it true that you walk around timing everybody with a stopwatch?
Stopwatch? You make it sound like a crime or something.
That was one of the things Errol Hunt complained to you about, wasn't it, your stopwatch?
He was born complaining, that one.
He complained to you that you walk around timing everybody. He said it made all those poor, tired people feel insecure. Wake up, Mr. Moore, he said. This is 1975. No union sanctions a stopwatch in 1975.
Union? Yeah, well, of course, we don't have a union at Ballards.
No, Mr. Moore. And that's precisely what has brought this trial about. Anyway, there's more. Giving people the sack is something else you seem to like as well, isn't it?
I can take it or leave it.
You sack more people every week than anyone else at Ballards, do you not?
Anybody that I ever sacked deserved it. Not one of them's been to the industrial tribunal.
They all deserved it, you say? What about the time you and Mr. Cohen sacked 60 workers in one day?
Yeah, one day. 60 of them in one day.
60 people in one go. You and Mr. Cohen apparently had some row, and he went around sacking your friends, and you went around sacking his. Between the two of you, you sacked 60 West Indians. He sacked 20, and you sacked 40.
Well, that's a lie. We sacked 30 each.
Oh, you didn't. Trying to make excuses.
60 people in one go. And it didn't even make the newspapers. No union, no protection, nothing. No complaints to the industrial tribunal because the people were ignorant of their rights.
It only happened once.
It only happened once. What did you call yourself, Mr. Moore? A friend of the coloured people, was it? It's no wonder you classed Errol Hunt as a troublemaker. It's because he wanted his fellow West Indians to be freed from your brand of utter ruthlessness. Am I not right?
He wasn't even working at Ballards when I sacked those 60.
You had to be rid of him, didn't you?
Well, he wasn't welcome, no.
So, either you or someone acting on your orders planted those cassette recorders in his locker and in the boot of his car.
Donna,
is that not so?
What you're talking about?
Was it you or someone following your orders?
Do you think I set this up? You think I need all this publicity? It's his doing, Hunt's.
I have no further questions, Mr. Moore. Thank you.
Let me warn you about that young man. I mean, he goes around calling everybody brother, but inside he's burning with resentment. I mean, he hates me. He said he was going to get me.
Mr. Moore.
You don't understand, sir. I mean, I've given my life to that factory. Now they're only looking for a reason to get rid of me. I'll soon be 60, you know.
Mr. Moore.
Yes, I know. It's just that I went to fight my way up, and now they're just waiting for me to go.
Now, Mr. Moore, are you all right?
Yes, I'm all right. Don't you worry about me.
Very well, then. Perhaps we can get on with it, Mr. Lloyd.
Now, Mr. Moore, you've been asked by my learned friend about Miss Baker and the lock on the boot of the defendant's car. I'd like to ask you myself. As far as you remember, did Miss Baker tell you that the lock on the defendant's car was defective?
No.
Did she ever mention Hunt's car boot?
No, I mean, what's so special about the boot of his car?
Did anyone ever tell you about that lock being defective? George Stevenson, for example.
George Stevenson? Of course not.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. No further questions. And that is the case for the prosecution, my lord.
I call the defendant Errol Hunt.
What is your religion?
Church of England.
Take the Bible in your right hand and read aloud the words on this card.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
You are Errol Hunt of 29 Shepherd's Walk, Fulchester.
Yes, I am.
Mr. Hunt, you're from Guyana, formerly British Guiana, I believe.
Yes, I am.
What was your occupation there?
I was a teacher.
Which leads me to my first real question. Why did you choose to work at Ballards? One hardly needs a degree in teaching to put together a cassette recorder.
At the outset, it was simply going to be a stopgap job. I was offered work at London University on the administrative side, and not a teaching job. But it wasn't going to be for some months, and so I took this job at Ballards to tide me over for the time being.
But you've been there for over a year. Why?
To tell you the truth, when I first started at Ballards, my first thought was to get out as fast as possible. But I couldn't. They don't have that kind of choice. The other workers. And they need all the help they can get. Believe me, Ballards isn't exactly Butlins.
But Mr. Moore has just told us that at Ballards everyone was as happy as spring. At least until you came, and then apparently winter set in. What do you have to say about that?
Mr. Moore flatters me, my sister. Not even Uriah Heep could be that good.
Are you saying that the workers at Ballards were never as happy as Mr. Moore would have us believe?
Oh, no, never. But to be quite fair to Mr. Moore, I'm sure that he believed that they were happy, or at least content. He sees himself as captain of this great big ship called Ballards, Captain Moore. He knows what's best for 200 people.
Mr. Moore has described you as a troublemaker. Are you a troublemaker, Mr. Hunt?
I don't think so, my sister. Mr. Moore, but anybody who doesn't agree with him 100% is a troublemaker.
Was it over one particular thing or a number of things that you two disagreed?
A number of things, my sister. Small indignities.
What do you mean by small indignities, Mr. Hunt?
Well, my lord, it's not so much the money. I mean, you'd never get rich working at Ballards. But at least they pay the basic minimum wage they're supposed to pay. No, it's not the money. It's the conditions under which you're expected to work. That's why there are no English workers at Ballards. They'd soon revolt against some of the things that Mr. Moore and his friends get up to. Now, there's just no getting away from the fact that Mr. Moore and his merrymen feel they're only dealing with West Indians and other black people. People who are not only of a different color, but a smell as well. And it's so much easier to exploit somebody when you think they even smell differently to you. Small indignities. At Ballards, even going to the toilet is a major hassle. They decide not only how long you can go, but how many can go at a time. I remember occasions when they've only allowed 2 people at a time. One man to use the men's, and one woman to use the women's. In a factory of 200 people, that's what I call a small indignity. And maybe it's not such a small one either. And then there's the stopwatch business. Now, surely, nobody should have to work with someone standing behind them, clocking them with a stopwatch. My lord, I mean, that sort of stuff should have gone out with the Depression. But, my dear brother, the worst indignity to me of all at Ballards is the way Mr. Moore and Mr. Cohen can just sack who they want, when they want. One woman got down on her knees in Mr. Moore's office, and she begged him for her job back. No way. Once they give you your cards, that's it. There's no redress, nothing. People talk about the industrial tribunal. Before I joined Ballards, most of the workers there never even knew that such a place existed. In any case, to qualify for protection under the industrial tribunal, you've got to have worked for about 6 months in one job. Anyone who can last for 6 months at Ballards don't need any tribunal. A medal, perhaps, but no tribunal. That's what I call small indignities, my lord.
Yes, well, thank you, Mr. Hunt. Continue, Mrs. Bryce.
Thank you, my lord. Now, Mr. Hunt, on the 15th of May, were you summoned to Mr. Moore's office?
Yes, I was.
And who else was there apart from Mr. Moore?
Mr. Cohen, Mr. Stevenson, and a policeman.
Did Mr. Moore then say that 2 cassette recorders had been found in your locker?
Yes, my sister.
And what did you say in reply?
I told him he was joking.
Did you say anything else to Mr. Moore?
Yes, I think I said I never thought you'd do it this way.
And what exactly did you mean by that?
I never thought he'd stoop that low to get rid of me. I mean, it seemed so unplanned. I mean, what good would it do me to steal his cassettes?
And then when the police searched your car and the other cassette recorders were found in the boot, what did you then say to the policeman?
I told them that the lock on the boot was useless. I told them that anybody could have put them there.
And what did you then say to Mr. Moore?
I wish I'd known how easy it was to steal at Ballards. I'd simply have fought one sort of crime with another sort of crime.
And, Mr. Hunt, were you just saying that had you known how easy it was, you'd simply have turned up at the factory with a lorry and cleaned them out of every cassette recorder in the place?
Of course not, my sister. Teachers don't make very good thieves, I'm afraid.
Now, Mr. Hunt, we've heard about your friendship at Ballards with one of the secretaries, a Miss Maudie Baker. Was there any time when Mr. Moore showed himself to be displeased by this friendship?
Oh, yes, my sister. A number of times. One time in particular, one lunchtime, he saw us holding hands. She was nuzzling me a little, and he turned purple with jealousy and said that Ballards was in the cassette business, not the marriage business.
And what happened next?
Maudie, Miss Baker, walked up to him and told him that if he said one more word, she'd demand her cards and go.
And?
He shut up like he was a parrot, and she'd put a cover over his cage.
But did he forgive and forget?
No. The very next day, he told Maudie
You
that...
can't tell us what he told Miss Baker. But did you repeat to him what she said to you?
Yes, my sister. The next day, I said that Maudie told me that he told her that he wasn't going to stand for my nonsense much longer.
What did he say?
That he was going to find a way to get rid of me.
And then what happened 2 weeks later?
2 weeks later, those cassettes were found in my locker and in the boot of my car.
Mr. Hunt, did you put those cassette recorders in your locker and in the boot of your car?
Of course not, my sister. Why would I throw it all away so stupidly? For nearly a year, I've been trying to negotiate for better conditions for all my brothers and sisters in that Victorian factory. It was Mr. Moore and his little band who wanted to get rid of me. I mean, why would I run the risk of being caught? Provide them with a perfect excuse to fire me just for a handful of cassettes? Do I look that stupid?
Thank you, Mr. Hunt. Will you wait there?
Mr. Hunt, why Ballards? You're a qualified teacher. Why choose to work, even for a week, in a cassette factory? Was it because someone got you the job? And if so, who?
Garfield King got me the job.
The same Garfield King who in March this year was dismissed for theft, yes?
You reckon that fact proves that I'm guilty?
Just answer the question, please.
Sorry, my lord.
Mr. Hunt, I was merely trying to establish which Garfield King. He was the same King who was dismissed for theft, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yes. And what is your relationship to Mr. King?
He's my cousin.
Yes, your cousin. That still doesn't explain why you, an intelligent, qualified teacher, settled for such a job. Now, surely you could have found far more suitable work, even as a stopgap. Unless, of course, your cousin had told you about conditions at Ballards and that there was no union there, and you went there with the express purpose of being a disruptive force. Now, was that it?
No, never. Garfield and I never discussed Ballards before I started there. It was simply going to be a temporary job, not a career.
Are you seriously trying to tell us that your cousin never once mentioned to you about conditions at Ballards, when, if we're to believe you, Ballards Electronics is worse than the Black Hole of Calcutta?
My dear brother, I don't doubt the fact that Garfield must have mentioned sometimes that things weren't exactly perfect at Ballards. But nevertheless, that was not my reason for taking that job.
Well, I suggest that it was. And I also suggest that you went there with the express purpose of causing trouble.
No, no way. I hadn't even planned to stay there any length of time, remember?
Won't wash, Mr. Hunt.
My lord, my client has already answered the question put to him by my learned friend. Bullying won't help.
Yes, yes. Mr. Lloyd, save your comments for your closing speech.
That's very well, my lord. Now, as a teacher, Mr. Hunt, you no doubt have academic qualifications.
Yes.
Well, do tell us what they are.
B.A., M.A., the usual proof of a misspent youth.
B.A. and M.A. Well, Mr. Hunt, what are you, a man with a B.A. and an M.A., still doing in a cassette factory after a year? If you're so anxious to help your fellow West Indians, Why aren't you in a school teaching? Can it be that you prefer being at Ballards because you like the idea of being a big fish in a small pond, and that you see yourself as a sort of one-man union?
No, but I sometimes wish I were that uncomplicated.
Yes, well, be that as it may, you haven't until now achieved anything, have you? To be quite brutal, Mr. Hunt, you don't seem to have had any success in your fight against the management there.
No, not much. Some, but not much. Not a great deal. No. Even the unions passed by on the other side.
And was that not why you stole the cassette recorders? Having accomplished nothing with your grand ideas of being the poor man's Fidel Castro, you decided you'd settle for something, so you became a common thief instead.
You couldn't be more wrong.
Not Fidel Castro. Well, perhaps you saw yourself as Robin Hood then, robbing the rich, gaining courage, no doubt, from the fact that if you were caught and things went wrong, you could always turn your trial into a sort of soapbox tragedy.
I've already said no.
No further questions.
I call Miss Maudie Baker.
Maudie Baker, please. This way, please.
What is your religion?
Catholic.
Take the Bible in your right hand and read aloud the words on this card.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
You are Miss Maudie Baker of 73 Acacia Avenue, Fulchester.
Yes.
Miss Baker, you work as a secretary at Ballards Electronics.
Yes.
How long have you known the defendant, Errol Hunt?
About a year.
And Mr. Moore, how long have you known him?
A little over 2 years.
How would you describe your relationship with Mr. Moore? Friendly? More than just friendly?
Friendly.
Did he take you out quite often?
Not often. Occasionally.
But did he ask you out quite often?
Oh, yes, he was always asking me out.
Was it a platonic relationship, or did he try to make love to you?
I make it very clear to him from the start that no way was I going to let him make love to me.
And did he abide by your wishes?
Oh, yes, or he knew I wouldn't have had anything to do with him.
Yet he still kept on asking you out after that?
Oh, yes. He began afterwards to refer to me as his daughter, jokingly most of the time, but...
But what, Miss Baker?
Well, he began to act like he was my father. You know, telling me I should always wear gloves, things like that.
Gloves?
I know. Sometimes it was like having Queen Victoria for a father.
Did it ever get so bad that you thought of leaving your job?
Christmas, yes. If it wasn't for Errol Hunt, I would have left a long time ago. Not that he was nasty to me, though, you understand. Mr. Moore, I mean. It's just that he wasn't my father.
And then, when Errol Hunt entered your life, did Mr. Moore approve of that?
It was like I committed a crime, a great train robbery. It was a bad joke. I really believe he hated Errol. Eventually, I told him plain. It's my life. I didn't mean to hurt his feelings, but... You know, Christmas.
And did things get better after that, or did he just seem to hate Mr. Hunt more?
He seemed to hate him more.
Now, Miss Baker, it has been suggested that because there is no union at Ballards, West Indian workers are being regularly exploited. We have also heard that Mr. Moore is particularly fond of giving his workers the sack. Have you ever witnessed this?
Everybody knows this of Mr. Moore.
Yet before Errol Hunt came to work at Ballards, everybody seemed to accept this appalling state of affairs.
Yes, miss. It's only now West Indians learning to stick together.
But after Hunt arrived, did things change for the better? Well, somewhat, anyway.
Oh, yes. I believe that sooner or later he would have got a union going at Ballards.
But before that could happen, all those cassette recorders were found in his locker and in the boot of his car.
Yes.
Did you know prior to the 15th of May that the lock on the boot of that car was defective?
I did.
And did you tell anyone about this?
Yes.
You told him or her sometime before May the 15th?
Yes.
And who did you tell about the lock being defective?
Mr. Moore.
Are you quite certain about this?
Yes, because first I told him it was broken. But when later I mentioned to Errol that I told Mr. Moore, he corrected me. Apparently it was defective, not broken.
Did you also repeat this further piece of information to Mr. Moore?
I did, yes.
Thank you, Miss Baker.
Miss Baker, do you regard a defective lock on somebody's car boot as a particularly breathtaking topic of conversation?
Beg pardon?
A car lock, a defective lock on a car boot. Would you consider it a very interesting topic of conversation?
Depends.
Yes or no, please?
No.
No. And yet you say that you mentioned it twice to Mr. Moore. Why?
Mr. Moore sometimes used to make remarks about Errol's car. Hadn't the doors fallen off yet? Ultra-funny jokes like that. One day I mentioned about the boot.
Oh, really? You don't like him very much, do you? Mr. Moore, I mean.
Yes, I do. He's always treated me generously and with respect.
Well, let's try it another way. What is your relationship to the accused?
What do you mean?
Are you in love with the accused?
Yes.
Do you hope to marry him?
Yes.
Then it would be in your own interest, would it not, to get him off this charge, even at the expense of Mr. Moore, and even if it meant committing perjury. Am I right?
I'm not English. I'm West Indian. The answer's no. No.
No? Thank you, Miss Baker.
Just one further question, Miss Baker. When you told Mr. Moore about the lock on Hunt's car being damaged, did he, Mr. Moore, seem interested?
Yes, very.
Thank you, Miss Baker.
I swear by Almighty God
I swear by Almighty God
that the evidence I shall give
that the evidence I shall give
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
You are Mrs. Clara Baines of 260 Pepys Road, Fulchester.
Yes, child.
Mrs. Baines, do you work at Ballards Electronics?
Yes, child.
How long have you worked there?
Too long.
How long is too long?
Too long is when there is no escape, child.
Yes, but Mrs. Baines, would it be 2 years, 10 years? How long?
10 years. Oh, Lord.
Mrs. Baines, do you remember the day Errol Hunt was arrested?
Oh, yes, my dear.
Do you know Errol Hunt's car?
Yes, child.
Do you remember anything to do with his car on that particular day?
Yes. I was late for work that day. I saw someone standing by Errol Hunt's car.
Now, what time of day was this?
About 10:30.
Did you recognize that person?
No.
It wasn't Errol Hunt?
No.
Mrs. Baines, at that time, should all the workers have been in the factory?
Nobody had any business being in a car park at that time of day.
Thank you, Mrs. Baines.
You're welcome, dear. Can I go now?
No, just stay there, Mrs. Baines.
All right, Your Honor. Don't get angry.
Now, Mrs. Baines, 6 years ago, 60 people were sacked at Ballards all on the same day. Were you at work on that day?
Yes. Jesus. I hope to God I never live to witness a day like that again. 60 colored people. My brother Alvin was one of them.
Why was he fired?
You asking me? To this day I don't know. Mr. Moore just say to him, you out?
Just you out.
That's right, as the Lord is my judge. You out? Out? Sometimes white people think they're God.
But wasn't he ever given a reason?
Reason, child? Well, somebody did tell me it was because he was Mr. Cohen's friend, but I don't call that a reason. I call it a punishment.
Yes, now that was years ago. Are things at Ballards better now?
Yes, in a matter of speaking.
What is the reason for this?
Sir, it's not a what, it's a who. That young man over there is the reason. Young Errol Hunt. He's too nice.
In what way did he change things?
He told us not to be afraid.
Yes, go on.
That's it.
Is that all that he did?
He told us not to be afraid. You don't know what it means to someone like me. I've been afraid so long in this country. When I think how long I want to cry. Oh, man. At work, in the bus queue, just crossing the road, afraid. One black face in a whole sea of white. Oh, God, you reckon I didn't have cause to feel afraid? Then young Mr. Hunt come to work at Ballards, and he give me hope. Oh, he's a wonder, that boy. Don't be afraid, my sister. That's what he said. Every lunchtime, the same words. Don't be afraid, until even the likes of me begin to believe. Now, I'm not afraid no more. Oh, it feels so good in here. And my heart is happy, happy. No more, sweet Jesus, no more. This country don't frighten me like it used to, not anymore. And it feels so good, so good. And it's all thanks to that young man over there. Bless you, son, bless you.
Thank you, Mrs. Baines. Are you all right?
Yes.
Very well, Mr. Lloyd.
Mrs. Baines, after your brother was dismissed from Ballards, I'm certain you took great umbrage, did you not? Understandably so, no doubt, but umbrage all the same.
What's that you're saying, Sonny? What? I don't speak French, you know. Sorry and all that.
You were angry, yes?
Oh, well, say so then. You're damn right I was angry and unhappy.
So you don't hold any love for Ballards?
Me? Hold love for them? I'm not mad.
In fact, you'd do anything, even years later, to get back at them. Am I right?
What you getting at?
Well, that you're for Errol Hunt simply because he's against Ballards Electronics. You'd say anything on anyone's behalf once they're against Ballards, wouldn't you, Mrs. Baines?
Is he calling me a liar, sir?
Simply answer his question, Mrs. Baines.
Sir, I wouldn't have your job. Not for all the tea in China.
The question, Mrs. Baines.
Okay, sir, don't fret.
Let me put it another way, Mrs. Baines. You still haven't forgotten that Mr. Moore gave your brother the sack for no reason whatsoever, have you?
No, I ain't forget.
Yes, and it would please you if you could pay him back, Mr. Moore, in some way. Any way, wouldn't it?
He deserve it.
Would you say that you hate Mr. Moore?
Me, sir? I don't hate nobody.
But you fear him?
Oh, yes. I'd be foolish not to.
Yeah, so if someone was against Mr. Moore, you'd be on their side, wouldn't you?
Yes, sure.
Yes. Thank you, Mrs. Baines.
Can I go now, sir?
Is that it, Mrs. Price?
Yes, my lord.
Very well, Mrs. Baines, you may go and sit down now.
Thank you, Your Honor, sir. Thank you.
Members of the jury, you've been subjected to a great deal of defence evidence about Ballards Electronics. Evidence which was not only largely irrelevant, but also conflicting. The accused, for instance, told us that anyone who worked there for 6 months deserved a medal. Yet he himself has been there for over a year, and Mrs. Baines, another defence witness, for 10 years. And don't forget that Miss Baker told us that she actually liked Mr. Moore, who'd always treated her with respect, and there's Mr. Stevenson, very happy there, earning his £60 a week. So perhaps the management and the conditions at Ballards are not quite as bad as the defence's smoke screen would have us believe. However, all that evidence is on the periphery of the matters which concern you, which are simply 2 counts of theft. The first relating to the 2 cassette recorders found in the accused's locker, and the other to the cassette recorders found in the boot of his car. And the only question is, how did they get there? And the obvious answer is, the accused put them there. Now, he's an intelligent man, of previous good character, And perhaps he wouldn't have stolen them, but for the hatred that he developed for the management of that factory. He told his fellow workers, take what you can. Get back at the management in any way you can. Now, it's easier to steal from someone if you think the possessor is a thief too. Capitalism is organized theft. That's another belief that Hunt expressed. Now, Hunt's only defense seems to be, if I understand it, that the cassette recorders were planted on him with the intention of getting him fired. Yet the defense has also gone to enormous lengths to show that Mr. Moore had the right to fire who he liked, when he liked. Now, why should he, or anyone, go to the elaborate business of planting recorders, committing perjury, and facing criminal prosecution themselves, when all he apparently had to do was to say, you, out? And members of the jury, I put it to you that that single defense does not make sense. And I also put it to you that the fact that the defendant was in possession of the cassette recorders points unequivocally to the fact that he was stealing them. And I must ask you to bring in a verdict of guilty on both the charges.
Members of the jury, all the evidence which Mr. Lloyd has sought to dismiss as peripheral is in fact central to the true explanation of the events giving rise to these charges, because it is that evidence which shows how these cassette recorders came to be planted on Errol Hunt. Now, whoever you believe about the conditions at Ballards Electronics, one thing is absolutely certain, that there was a great deal of bitterness about them. And Errol Hunt was, because of his attitude to these conditions, a thorn in the side of Mr. Moore. Mr. Moore made no bones about that. And it was because of this that someone, Mr. Moore or someone else, planted those goods on Errol Hunt. Of course, such a thing would be very wicked. And you will naturally feel reluctant to conclude that anyone could be so wicked. But Mr. Moore is no ordinary man. Consider the fact that he admits that on one day, he and another manager each sacked 30 men. Consider what Mrs. Baines said of the factory. Consider his odd relationship with Miss Baker. Is that man incapable of the ruthless and wicked act of which I now accuse him? The act of planting those cassettes and framing Errol Hunt? I think not. In fact, such an act would be quite in character, would it not? Members of the jury, I have to prove nothing. The prosecution must prove their case. You have the word of that man that he did not plant the goods. You have the word of this man that he did not steal them. You cannot convict this man on the evidence of such another.
Now, members of the jury, you must remember there are 2 counts and you must consider them separately and bring in separate verdicts. But, of course, they have much in common. They are both charges of theft. Now, in law, the definition of theft is as follows. A person is guilty of theft if he dishonestly appropriates the property of another with the intention of permanently depriving that other of it. Now, remember that before you can convict the accused, you must be satisfied within reasonable doubt of his guilt. Now, when you retire, would you please elect a foreman to speak for you all? Let the jury bailiff be sworn.
All stand. Members of the jury, will your foreman please stand? Just answer this question, yes or no. Have you reached verdicts upon which you are all agreed?
Yes.
On count 1, do you find the defendant Errol Hunt guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
On count 2, do you find the defendant Errol Hunt guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Errol Hunt, you are free to go.
Court will rise.
Next week, a chance for you to join another jury in assessing the facts when our cameras return to watch a leading case in the Crown Court